What's up, everyone? Trey, Lyle here, Frontstretch.com with Garrett Cook and Michael Massie. Post-race conversation for the Xfinity 500, where Ryan Blaney gets it done, dominating the day, stamping his ticket to the Championship 4. And Mike, it was a phenomenal day for Ryan and his team, ultimately kind of fulfilling the hype that's been around this guy for so long and getting it done.
Yeah, Ryan Blaney was the dominant car. The old 1-2 was out front. Gave Denny Hamlin a run for his money. Denny is a 5-time winner here, one of the masters of the clock, of the grandfather clock. And Ryan went toe-to-toe with him. They got pretty aggressive there in one of these runs. And Ryan just pulled away, and the race comes. He's got to track down Aric Almirola, who they did a Hail Mary to try to get him a win. Ryan does it. He answers the call, catches Almirola, gets around him, gaps the field again, gets through lap traffic, and now he's going to Phoenix with a championship on the line.
Yeah, definitely has a championship, could repeat what Joey Logano did last year in terms of having, I don't want to say a bad season, but maybe a middling season, and then gets hot at the right time and ultimately wins the championship. Garrett, let's flip to the other side. Denny Hamlin falls short again. Only 8 points to William Byron. We'll talk about that in a second. But for Hamlin, you fall short again, but 54 points on the day. You talked to Chris Gabehart, you talked to Denny. They felt really good about their day. They basically performed as well as they possibly could. Fell one spot short to ultimately the fastest car on the day, which was the 12, but the 11 was the clear number 2.
Yeah, that's exactly right. The 11 gave it everything they had. That team had great pit stops all day. They beat Ryan Blaney off the pit road multiple times today, and they went toe-to-toe on multiple restarts. They did everything they could, and it just wasn't enough. That steering issue they had last week at Homestead is ultimately why they won't be making it to the Championship 4.
Yeah, and let's flip to William Byron real quick, Mike. He seemed to not have any speed whatsoever today, and I'm putting that lightly. Rudy Fugle said it was embarrassing the way the car was today, and it looked really bad for him throughout. I know you've touched on a lot with being hesitant to pick Byron this year to make the championship. You got to lose a championship. It felt like that moment today, but ultimately they sneak in. They did just enough to get him to the Championship 4.
Oh, today, William Byron lost the championship, won a championship, lost it again, won it again. He had like a roller coaster day. They entered today with a 30-point cushion, all right, on the cut line. So you're thinking, all right, so just a solid day like he's done all year, and he moves on.
Get some stage points, stage 1, you should be good.
Yeah. But instead, they decided to exhaust every bit of that 30-point buffer until it was only 8 at the end. At one point, it was gone completely. Denny had scored 19.
He was second,
and Byron was 20th.
And that was the difference.
Yeah, so it was completely gone because Denny scored 19 stage points, so he wiped out half the deficit right there. And it's just, if it didn't come down to, they got the car a little bit better, and so he climbed his way up, and then you had guys run out of gas at the end, had to come get gas. He gained some spots there, got 13th. That was enough to move on. But, man, the guy, he wanted to get out of the car at one point. He said that afterwards, that it was so hot. And I guess his cooling system, his helmet fan wasn't working well enough to keep him cool. He really thought about just calling it, but he decided to be gritty, to grind it out, and he'll be racing for a championship at a track he won at earlier this year.
Yes, indeed. Speaking of the package itself, seemed to be the best, Martinsville race in this new next-gen car. Tire fall-off was there. We had passing. You talk about Ryan Blaney's late surge against Aric Almirola. Hamlin moved through the field. This seemed to be, very much an improvement. It was a good race, ultimately.
Absolutely. You looked around and you were seeing passes all over the racetrack. Strangely enough, Martinsville became a 2-lane racetrack today at certain points in this race. So, to me, that in itself is a success on this package. Now, do they still have some things they need to improve on? Yes. I think the heat played an ultimate factor in wearing these tires out the way it did. But honestly, I think it at least gets a B- from me today.
Yeah, it was definitely much an improvement. Speaking of cars that did not make it through the day, this car right here didn't. Yes, a pace car went out halfway through this race. Luckily, they have a second one, but at one point a safety truck was leading the field during caution. That had to be one of the craziest moments we've ever seen in a race.
Yeah, I'm wondering if the pace car has to start at the rear of the field for going to a backup.
At Phoenix?
Yeah, maybe. But no, I was running around the garage looking for Brad Keselowski after he fell out of the race, and all of a sudden I hear the crowd just start roaring. And I'm thinking, did something happen to Denny Hamlin? Like what happened? Something happened to Bubba Wallace? What's going on out here? And I look and I see a wrecker hooking up to the pace car. Apparently it was the rubber buildup on the track from these tires wearing out so much caused the wiring underneath of there to go faulty, have some damage. I'm not a mechanic. I can't tell you what's exactly wrong with it, but yeah, it caused it to no go, no mo.
No go, no more. Well, no go, no more in terms of a championship is Denny Hamlin, Martin Truex Jr., Chris Buescher, and Tyler Reddick. And let's talk Martin Truex Jr. Gets the pole, is probably the third best car for the first half of the race, and then does exactly what Ryan Preece did last year, speed on pit exit. It just seems this is another one of an ultimate failure by a race team during these playoffs where you are the regular season champion. You have the best advantage. You are plus, 39 every time you come in it. That's a race. And they ultimately fail again. In my opinion, this was the worst postseason performance by a regular season champion. It's just it can't happen this way if you are the regular season champ. But he didn't deserve to be in the championship ultimately for how bad the team was.
I agree. I absolutely agree. I think that unfortunately for Truex, today was a microcosm of his entire playoff run. I mean, he just didn't have it today. Once they spit on pit road, it's hard to pass here. Even though, like I said, this was a 2-lane racetrack for a little while. You can't get from 22nd back to first in the amount of laps he had left, unless you use some pit strategy, and unfortunately, they didn't use any today. So it's unfortunate for Truex, but you're right, he didn't deserve to make it.
And that will wrap it up. Championship 4 is on the way in Phoenix. This guy right here will be heading to it with Brian Nolan. I'm sorry. That has to happen, but we'll have a full crew down in Phoenix. Garrett and I will get to enjoy it from the comfort of our own homes. But Championship 4, but you guys covered a little bit of that, getting us ready for it. You covered the William Byron side of things. You covered the Denny Hamlin side of things. So check those out, frontstretch.com. And check them out on Twitter.
At Cook_G9.
I just didn't know his. He's M_Massie22. I'm at Trey Lyle VT. Follow us, all our content at Frontstretch. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Frontstretch. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for listening to our post-race conversation. The Championship 4 is set. Let's head to Phoenix.
This is Austin Dillon, driver of the Bass Pro Shop Chevrolet. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Also check out one of those 2 videos beside me. Visit frontstretch.com for more racing content.